I wanted to talk about that show on Netflix. I've been watching this show. I started watching it last night. I almost finished it. I was up till 5 in the morning because I wanted one more episode. There's only 8. I only started watching it because Jason Bateman is the executive producer of this show, which I was like, why is he executive producing a survival show where they throw 16 people into Alaska and they all meet up and there's like a paper there. The helicopter keeps dropping. There's no
Did you say what it was called?
Outlast. And it's 2023. It's brand new on Netflix. And there's no host, which I hate. You need that Jeff Probst guy there to anchor everything down. All they have is a helicopter that drops messages. And so, and very clearly a film crew who we don't talk about. It's fucking stupid.
It's Bear Grylls style.
So the contestants all converge on this point on the message, and the lady reads it aloud, and it basically says, break off into 4 teams. You'll each be on a separate quadrant of this island river delta thing by the ocean. And before she can say any more, teams have formed. Like the quicker of them have been like, they grabbed 2 people and like looked for a 4th, and then was like, come on, let's get that guy. And so there are these leftover teams. The one guy is like, I didn't really understand what was happening until it was already done. And so this is my team, Team Delta. And it was like, oh, and
it's him and 2 guys with cerebral palsy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of women, and there are some smaller women and some older gals. And then there's this one chick. I thought she had meth face. She quickly cleared that up, let us know it was heroin. She's like, I'm a recovered heroin addict. I'm a felon, and I'm here to win.
That was rude of you to make assumptions, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. I thought so little of her when she rose so high.
But then you realize she was pretty cool.
So what this feels like to me is they had an idea for a reality show, but the contestants broke the game. And so they're like, yeah, just make it 8 episodes and fucking record whatever happens. I don't know who wins. I haven't watched either the last episode or the second to last episode, but here's what happens very quickly. People start starving and quitting right away. Starving and freezing and quitting because there's nothing.
How fast is right away?
Well, to the viewer, it's the first episode, like 10 minutes. To them, time moves fast for them. Like all of a sudden, 3 or 5 days will pass, and you're like, oh, okay, move the fucking story along. And that's my cue that nothing happened for a week. You know, they all laid there for a goddamn week, and then something happened. So one of the teams decides that they're going to turn rogue. There are 2 teams on each side of the river. The tides are such that they have access to each other occasionally, like, every 6 hours. When it gets to the low tide, you can kind of wade across. One team has a raft, though, a good one. Well, they send their boy in SEAL Team 6 style to the weakest team because they've only got 2 people left. It's like a guy and a girl who are just barely making it. He makes himself a ghillie suit, rafts across. His team is all girls, and they're there like, these bitches are like, yeah, get him. He sneaks over there when they're out of their camp and steals everything. He takes all of their sleeping bags. It drops down to the 20s at night, and it's a rainforest technically. He takes their sleeping bags, and he gets back with them. They destroy his raft, but they don't wait him out for some reason. They find his raft on their side. He has to swim across, towing the raft behind him. It's a decent sized raft that he made with all their shit on it, and he does it. And he's like a fit guy, and he gets the other side, and he's like showing him his asshole and telling him to kiss his ass and this and that. And like those 2 people.
Wait, is he showing his teammates his asshole? I'm a little confused.
He's flashing his asshole to the people he just fucked across the river.
Okay.
Shit. And it's awful. And that makes one guy quit right away. He's like, I don't want to be in a game like this. He's on a completely different team. And he's like, I don't even want to be in a game like this.
He wasn't even the robbed one.
Look at the 2 people who had this that night. They just shivered. They're just shivered all night. They were heating stones up and placing them in their little hovel, wrapping themselves up in tarp and hay and shit. It was miserable.
I probably would have quit too.
Meth face girl, that one team gets down to 1 guy because, again, his teammate had too many morals to continue in a contest like this. So he leaves his poor teammate alone. Solo. Dude, Meth Face and her gal pal come over and start robbing him to his face. Just stealing his shit.
He's a natural.
One of them, Meth Face, is stealing his shit that's on the beach because he was going to cross over and join a different team. The other one is at his camp with their arms crossed. You can either save your raft or save your camp. I'll stay here all night. And he's like, what if I got you? People are evil. You people are evil.
This is a dude getting robbed by girls, right?
He can't beat them up.
Wait, he can absolutely beat
He
them up.
totally
He won't win the show. He'll go to jail.
Cable. Yeah, I mean, like, you could take a knee to the nose. Is that your idea here?
He was
No,
like, this is
Dumbledore is not going to walk out and be like, for assaulting your female opponents, we award you a barrel of rice.
I'd be tempted to steal her clothes on the spot. Like, oh, you think you're the thief?
It got worse. The one that was by his raft cut it apart down to bits and bobs, destroyed it to his face, and then tried to steal. She was like, this is mine. Like, trying to take it from him. He's like, it's mine. It's clearly mine. And she finally gives up and she goes, you'll be gone soon, you weak motherfucker. And she walks away. And I think he might have cried, but they didn't show it. It's sad. Dude, I don't know what happens after that because that's when I had to go to bed. But
dude, there's no way to respond to that on a TV
awful.
show. Like if a small woman is like breaking your shit on a TV show and you can see, Stevie and Edward, the camera and the boom operator there, it's like you don't have an option. What do
he says? You'll be gone.
You have
soon,
to like sprint to their camp and break their shit. Also, like that's your only option is to be like, okay, mutually assured destruction. I got to go destroy your shit.
I'll tell you what I would have done.
I have my own idea. I want to hear Kyle's first.
I would have made fire and made a torch, and we'd have went and burned their camp to the ground. Like every bit of their shit would have been burned to the ground, and that would have been it. It was like I'm not going to steal your shit because then you might get it back. I'm going to destroy everything you have and jump in there. It's on fire. Get it. I would have burned all the shit. That's the first thing I would have done. All their medical supplies, their food. I don't care. Their personal belongings out, their family pictures, all of it. Like, burn their
Unless
shit
this woman was unusually tough, my idea: throw her in the water. Throw her in the water. She needs to be fucking freezing cold right now. Does it get out of 20 at night in this rainforest? Yeah. Well, you better do something about that because you're soaking wet now.
It pissed me off, and I that's why I kept watching because I wanted these cunts to pay. But it doesn't feel like it's heading in that direction. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to finish it after the show tonight. But Outlast kind of caught my attention last night. It's not, it's reality TV and quasi-reality.
I have a question about it.
Yeah.
Do teams win or do people win?
People win. $1 million. I should have said that first thing. It's $1 million.
So those girls, the heroin addict and the criminal, are going to turn on each other in the next 2 episodes.
Now, I was smoking out of my my bong that we got sent some very powerful concentrate. So maybe teams can win, but that doesn't make sense to me. It really seemed to me like it had to come down to one. Although there's a lot of that Survivor style. Like some of these people have 3 different allies. They're like, yeah, I'm with you no matter what. Bullshit. And they're like they have secret meetings with other team members in the woods and shit. Meanwhile, camera crew's there. So I don't know how any of that shit's actually happening, but it caught my attention. I liked it. It's the first reality show in a long time that I haven't thought was vomit inducing. And
I really want you to try Survivor. Because, first of all, I think you'd be good at Survivor, better than I am. I watch Survivor, though, and I know it's an old show, and it's 20. I think they're in season 40 now. It's something really high like that. But I watched that show, and I'm like, my gosh. Everyone on this show is better than I even think I could be. Like, they're just clever, and the way that they form relationships, and they're steeped in survival knowledge. So when they hunt down you can get an immunity idol, and it's just, they'll tell you, like, hey, there's an immunity idol hidden in the woods somewhere. They've seen 100 found immunity idols before. So they kind of like know where to look. They're not randomly searching around. They're like, you know what? If there's a knothole in a tree, if there's a pile of leaves, these are the kinds of places you might find it. They're good at it. And how you use your energy, whether you want to be good, right? The tallest blades of grass get cut down and the shortest ones get plucked. And you kind of want to be just in the middle there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If I was going to try to play that game, what character do you present? What version of you do you show? You don't want to be alpha male man who's like, don't worry, everybody, I'll kill us a pig and keep us alive. You're going to piss like 30% of them hate you immediately, and 30% of them want to compete with you now, and the rest of them are like, yeah, I kind of like that guy, but not really. That's terrible. Like, you don't want to be too weak. You don't want to be like creepy, because it's 50% women. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces to playing that game, I guess. But I have a real eye and maybe ear for when there's bullshit shenanigans going on a reality show. I was watching it last night, the show we're talking about, and I'm like, I look at my girlfriend and I go, they stocked that pond with fish and taught them to fish for several hours. That's why every one of them keeps hooking a 20-pound fish. And what do they say? Fish on. Almost like a professional fisherman had been there all day saying fish on every time he fucking caught one.
No, Kyle, they organically started saying that. And you know how ponds are. You go to ponds. They all have a similar amount of giant, exact sized fish.
Salmon.
Yeah. Wait, was it like a little pond that had like 20-pound catfish that had just been thrown in?
It was like Soho tuna or something like that. I'm not an expert, but the camera never shows you a wide shot. So it looks to me like they just stocked a little pond so that they could get a fishing, because they were not catching anything from the river delta that they're by. It's like a tidal estuary, maybe. They're right there by the ocean. And so the medical boat is out to sea. And whenever somebody fucking croaks, they come and get them with a helicopter and take them out.
In that other one, Alone, oh my God. The way that they give contestants food annoys the crap out of it. Like, they'll build a fish trap. If you don't know a fish trap, picture like half an hourglass with spikes. It's easy to swim in, but it's hard to find your way out. I described it wrong. But anyway, they're finding dead fish in their fish trap. Get the fuck out of here. Someone put a fish in there for you. Yeah. That is absolutely
frozen.
They find like fresh fish on the riverbank right in front of where they go for a walk. It's really planted food. And I Googled it, and they'd be like, apparently I'm not the only fan that came up with this theory. It's widely suspected.
Oh, 100%. We know what it's like, right? Like, we went out into the woods ourselves. Chris, Woody and I and a couple more folks went out in the woods with a cameraman, and with this sort of like, not full on, more like what I'm describing, more like extreme camping. We had hammocks to sleep in and stuff. And
I had seen something you guys going out in the woods. I don't know if it was
there's been a couple of attempts.
Okay.
We've had a couple of adventures under our belt.
We have not proven that we could last for an extended amount of time.
There wasn't a pond full of fish.
But what it boils down to is a lot of sitting and waiting for the day to end, and then sitting and waiting for the night to end. And you rinse and repeat for 5 days, and it's over. And that's what I think happens a lot in these reality survival shows, if you don't really poke and prod them along to go do shit. And if you don't feed them, then they don't have enough energy to even film. There's this one guy. My show is real, because there's this one guy who expends a lot of calories. He thinks he's going to win the crab pot challenge, and he's on his raft doing push-ups in the middle of the river. He does not win the crab pot challenge. He gets swept past the island, and they have to recover him off camera. They don't even show what they have to go through to save his life. And he's crying on camera about how he let his team down. And he doesn't eat for like 2 more days. And he's like, hey, it's been 2 days since I've eaten anything. I'm seeing black spots. And then they go 5 days later. and this guy's like, hey, you want to come? He's like, I'm going to go cut down a big tree. I want a log to lean to here, this and that. And the starving guy's like, I'll come. He fucking passes out and hits his head, face plants, unconscious. Now he's on the medical boat. It's you can't film fun bits where we stand on poles and look for immunity idols if you got bitches passing out.
They have to be a little bit fabricated, or not fabricated, but like they have to like, reality shows have to like push them a little bit if they're not fabricating shit, or else it'll just be like too real is too boring sometimes. Like you have to have some kind of influence from the producers or whatever.